Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we're live on a Saturday, ready to do some feedback. Find us everywhere that you find podcasts on this wild card NFL weekend. Okay, leave us 5-star reviews, comment on the website, vote in the polls. All the contact info is right there in the show notes. You can even mail us stuff. It's on the about page of our website, theblackguywhotips.com/about. And we did get some stuff in the mail. I'm glad I checked the mail.
Yay.
Okay. Look at what came in the mail. But feedback, we're gonna get right into it. The first place that we like to start though is with the people that took the time. Cause it's hard out here. I don't know if y'all heard. It's hard out here on these streets, okay?
It is.
The money's not moneying like it used to. It just ain't getting as much, okay?
Dollars don't go as far.
But yeah, so we want to shout out to people that gave us money.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's own Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tied to the Black Guy Who Tips.
New money, new hey. We got some new people giving. We got some new donations. Tiffany B, recurrent donator. Alfonso M, Mr. Span from the Mr. Span podcast. Palmetto Stone Magic. Jay Full, Lindsay B, Autumn W, James C, David C, no relation. Jasmine J, Bambi, Dr. Professor Bambi, Unbridled Love. We got our girl Falcons Diva, Kevin W, Jason F. We got a one-time donation from Dorothea W. Thank you, Dorothea.
Come on, Dorothea sound like somebody great grandma. They don't make Dorotheas no more.
You know what? Appia is Dorothea.
Oh, okay.
And Appia's black friend in Germany is Dorothea. So I would say we're the number one podcast with Dorotheas.
Child, number one demographic. Thank you, Dorotheas.
Until proven wrong, we are number one in the Dorothea demographic.
I'm claiming it.
Derek L.W. And lastly, Ken M. Thank you, everybody who took the time out to put something in our pockets. All right, church girl, don't hurt nobody. We got a couple 5-star reviews. I can't remember if I read this before. I genuinely don't know.
Like I said, I don't care if you.
I feel like we should have if we did one last Saturday, but I don't remember, so I'm gonna read it again.
Charlie, y'all know me. I don't be remembering, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but I do be remembering, so I'll be trying to do a good job with that. I know you don't care, but some of us have to care.
Somebody has to care.
Yeah, I know you just here for the ride, but people don't want to hear us doing the same stories 5 times. Makes my day every day. I won't ever be able to fully convey my admiration for the Black Guy Who Tips. I've been an avid listener for almost 11 years. Woo-hoo! I love how the show has evolved. Even through the evolutions, it has remained poignant, informative, thoughtful, and humorous. I'm really enjoying the new segments like Gender Wars and the IG polls. I hope 2024 brings continued success and another live show. Thank you, mature young lady. We like that. We do plan on doing a live show again this year.
We do. Those are the plans. So get your money in order.
Yeah. So much love from Vay Still Trippin', who says, came for the comedy, stayed for the blackness. So many fantastic statements and topics to enjoy. The thing that makes the show so great is how Rod and Karen like and love each other. Love me some black love. Don't ever change. And thank you for all the hours of laughter and listening.
Oh, thank you. I do. I love Roger very much.
Yeah, and I do too. And I think, if we don't do Black Love TM like as a, selling point, I know a lot of people do. But we are black and we love each other. So, if you get something out of that, go on get it, player. Because there's not a lot of joy left in the world. Get it where you can.
Claire, get it where you can.
Listen, I don't even really see color. Honestly, I love my white wife and my biracial kids.
You ain't getting me hemmed up. I I just want to wear my Lululemons and my Uggs
If
and
it
do my
ain't-
yoga class.
If it ain't snowing, we ain't going.
Don't
Okay.
you? I'm not trying to get roasted out.
National
in
Milk and Cookies Day. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Shout
sir.
out to RG3.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, absolutely brilliant from J.A. I think it's J.Al3 maybe. I hope I said that right. And it says, I have become an instant fan after listening to you on Karen Hunter's show last year. Okay.
Oh, come on through. You
Shout out to
big,
Karen
I'm
Hunter.
about to say you big in the Karen demographic too.
Listen, let me tell you something.
Doretheas and Karens.
Let me tell you something. Dorotheas love us, and no matter what their race is. And Black Karens, I'm huge in the Black Karen demographic. I'm eating it up. Okay, I'm over there killing it. You two are awesome. Please keep up the great work. Thank you. Don't tell Karen we be saying nigga over here though. Okay, keep that between us.
Yeah.
She don't know won't hurt her. Okay. All right. That's it for the voicemails. Let's get into the comments on the actual episodes. Because we did do actual episodes and we do need, we did have your comments on them. So the first episode was 2834 Good Faith Everything. It was our feedback show. And we got 2 comments on it. Both comments are from Appia. I'm glad I'm not a celebrity when it comes to my relationship. My relationship established in 2006 is overall pretty good, but surprise, not perfect. We did never have the big problems. There was never cheating or abuse or dishonesty with money. Love my husband. I find him attractive, and he says the same about me. We're doing pretty great financially and have pretty cool kids. What more could anyone want, you might ask? Mr. Appia is a real introvert, and so I can choose out if I'll wait until he brings up an issue that has to be solved, an emotional one or a project in the house. It doesn't matter, and it's very possible he never does. I once waited 10 years for him to take care of a project in our basement, and he never did, so I had to do it eventually, or I'll do it again. I'm unfortunately not a mind reader. His normal mode is not to communicate. So you can imagine the problems. I start asking open questions to get communication going. He gives me short answers to make the conversation die. If you don't have kids and real estate together, you could just say, okay. If you don't talk, you don't talk. We don't talk. Unfortunately, this is not an option here. We have to communicate to find, for example, common ground about how to deal with something that came up with the kids, because a teacher, for example, needs a decision from us. I suggested, of course, therapy for him in a nice, something fell on my desk. I suggested therapy for him. Where is it? Okay. In a nice way to make it easier for him to start conversations. He said he sees that it would be good, but he doesn't try to find a therapist, possibly because he would have to talk to someone to achieve that. Yeah, I'm generally a less talking the better type of person. I if I know I need to talk and I need to gear up for it, I'm ready, but I'm not necessarily a try to kill the conversation person. Just, introversion isn't like always like crippling or socially whatever. I'm actually really good talking to people one-on-one, especially like people I like and love and care about. I can talk to them all day. I'm more of a, if I go to a party, it's overwhelming and I cannot wait to fucking go home type of situation.
And nobody really has deep conversations in those settings.
If I go to a club, the music's too loud, stuff like that. I'm not really huge with that, but like people that get to talk to me love me. They love talking to me. It's it's kind of a problem sometimes.
Yeah, because Roger finds a lot of extroverts that just claim him and go like, "You gonna be my friend."
Yeah, and also like when I go play like basketball or something, and I'm sitting on the sideline and I'm talking to people kind of holding court, that motherfuckers will glom onto it. They're like, I love this guy, he's funny, you should be a comedian, what do you do for a living, that kind of thing. If I was famous or Mr. Appia, there would be a possibility to take pictures of us when we are both pissed off, or get some quotes from me that are bad and put them out of context. Getting quotes from him would be way harder. It would be funny to see the host try only to get the same short answers they always get. Well, what's funny about that is it don't take much. So he could, just the fact that he would give a short answer, if people are projecting, they'll be like, oh, he's saying that because he hates her. A big example of this to me is Ben Affleck and J-Lo. The amount of articles we don't cover on this show that are just, someone took a candid picture of them, and Ben Affleck has resting bitch face.
Yes, he does.
So like anytime he's just listening to her, he looks kind of like pissed off. He always looks that way.
Mm-hmm.
And they take the picture out of context and they're like J-Lo and Ben Affleck in heated argument over something. And it's like, we have no fucking idea if they're arguing. You know, it's like he's talking with his hands. He must be angry. It's like, I think we just hate women that much that we're like, even J-Lo, right, fellas? It's hard to deal with these bitches. Like, She also replied, I know that Rod also identifies as an introvert, but can you talk about your feelings and motives you can talk about your feelings and motives in a great way, Rod, and start a conversation. So I don't know. Do I have to find another word for Mr. Appiah? Maybe he's a non-communicator, a standby mode lover. What is it? Yeah, I don't know. I guess, there's probably different grades of introversion, and maybe he's just on a different, he's more introverted than I am. And yeah, I think, maybe, and a lot of people are just not necessarily great verbal communicators. But if y'all have found a way, and you say you've been together since 2006, I mean, y'all clearly have found a way to communicate. So, I mean, I know you say it's not perfect, but I mean, nothing's perfect. And also, like, the grass is always greener. You could end up with a motherfucker that do talk a lot, and you might be like, God damn, shut the fuck up. Why are you talking so fucking much? Because I've seen that happen too, where you think you want something and you just don't. I like Karen powers through and talks a lot, even when I'm like trying to do something. But honestly, I would prefer that. I'm too anxious of a person and too empathic to be with somebody that's like just always fucking quiet and always in their own head and they don't want to talk. Because then I become the annoying, like, is you good? Everything all right? What's going on over there? And nobody wants to deal with that kind of insecurity and shit. So, like, you just got to pick your poison. And that means sometimes I need to pause a video game or turn the podcast off. Fuck it. It's fine. I'd rather have that than the other way.
I'm better than I used to, y'all.
It's okay. I'm not. This is not a complaint. You don't have to justify. It's not a complaint. I'm not. This is not no sneak diss or nothing. I think people just don't balance it out in their minds of like, there's another side of this where I think I want that, but do you? I don't know.
Right. And also as a extrovert, I had to understand how to look outside of myself and actually observe and pay attention to what's happening in the room. I've been around extroverts that don't pay attention to shifts and changes in the room. And they don't pay attention to people getting bored. They don't pay attention to people not wanting to be there. Like, they don't pick up on any social cues or anything like that. So over the years, I've learned to actually pick up on those things and adjust. So yes, I'm a pure extrovert, but as I've got older, I can turn it on and turn it off. And it's people that have been around me that think I was almost an introvert, because I know in certain situations it's best to shut the fuck up and don't nobody give a fuck about what I got to say at this period of time. And it's okay to let the silence fall and shit like that. Like, it's okay. Every second does not have to be consumed with your words.
On YouTube, Corinna says, hey, Rod and Karen, me and my kid went in October to both get flu and COVID shots at our local pharmacy. I was surprised at the time at how long the line was of people with appointments. Yeah, that is good. I think there are more people than there are people who are like sober minded and staying up to date on their vaccines, paying attention to the news.
They are.
And I think there's also this extreme of people that are like so super concerned about COVID still that they're not doing anything. And I'm sure they're getting vaccinated as well, even if they're staying indoors.
Right.
And wearing masks and all that stuff 100% of the time. Not knocking those people, just saying like, those are the groups of people getting vaccinated.
Yes.
And then there's just a lot of people who don't care. So it's not nobody. We're not alone. It's just the percentage is a lot lower than I think it should be. But that's probably the same with the flu and all that stuff.
Yeah, and also, truth be told, because we don't actually we have stats and statistics, but we don't really keep good stats and statistics. And a lot of times the people that are kind of I'm not doing it type of people, particularly if you're online, they're the loudest. Most people that are doing their own, that are actually getting the shots and getting vaccinated, most of them people, they just do it and they don't say anything. So people just act like these people just don't exist, but we do.
Yeah,
exist.
I think the extremes are the loudest on both sides.
That's true.
Because also I see a lot of like it's COVID out there. Don't do nothing, people too. And I
okay,
think,
I see what you're saying. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
those
yes.
people have spent a lot of time arguing with each other online for 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
And so they're I ain't gonna name no names, but like I saw Democracy Now! Put out a tweet that was like an update on like some current COVID things that are happening, the rise of COVID. And I saw people like quoting at them, yelling at them, like, you acted like COVID didn't exist for 2 years. You are responsible and culpable in this. And I was like, okay, that's a level of fucking insanity that is happening right there. As like, that's not healthy any more than Aaron Rodgers to me. Like, that's too extreme.
Yeah.
But at any rate, yeah, so yeah, I'm glad that y'all did get vaccinated. They said we're the only ones in our family social circle who are current. Yeah, a lot of people just aren't keeping up to date. And yeah, it's just very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
The poll was, did you listen to or watch the Cat Williams interview? Yeah.
It's the clips. I
Nope, that's no then.
So no.
All right, so
I got it through you and clips online, so apparently no.
62% say yes, 38% say no. But you do raise a good point. I didn't say, did you watch the whole interview? So maybe there are people that are like,
right.
I heard clips. Yes, 61%, 38% no. The thing for me is that is still a very high percentage, 60-something% of y'all went and watched that interview. And that's why Shannon, he won.
Yeah, and that's he won either way. Kind of, he won for people to watch the whole thing. He won for the people to watch the clips because the clips still count as views.
Not the same way as clicking on the YouTube.
Oh, that's
because those are the views I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm with you. But you are aware of it, put like that.
Yeah, so he definitely, that's why he won, even if we think he could have did a better job or he could have pushed back. At the end of the day, that's not what that show is. And the motherfucker got 25 million views letting Cat Williams say 3 hours worth of shit. He won.
Yes, he did. Either way it goes.
Then I said happy 14th anniversary because it was our 14th anniversary. Everybody basically just said happy anniversary. I'm trying to see if anyone said anything differently because there's like a bunch of comments, 17 of them. I'll read them. Muhammad says, cheers to another year of podcasting. Roger says, happy anniversary. Been listening since 2013. Came from Twib. Keenan says, happy anniversary. I hope I don't offend anyone with this question, but are you saying shoe booty? Well, her name is Shoe Booty, but the booty is spelled Bootie. And I don't know what it means. Maybe if she hears this, she'll write and explain the name.
Right.
But yeah, I am saying Shoe Booty, just not with a Y. Soul Power says, blessed anniversary, you too. Nichelle says, I don't know exactly when I started listening to the pod, but I remember it was when I still lived in Brooklyn, and that was over 12 years ago. I first heard you on Twib. Congratulations on 14 years. Thank you, Nichelle. Yeah, and I think you used to be like the cupcake somebody, like back on Twib. Like, I remember that. We had like dinner with her one time, like cool people. Coach Malik says, happy anniversary. I'm not a day one, but been listening 12 years strong, and I appreciate all you do. Hey, look, it's very few day ones. We've been doing this so long, all the days count. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't even take it personal.
Can Nicole says, happy anniversary. Dave Chappelle is doing the very thing he criticized Hannah Gadsby for doing for the past few specials. I wasn't offended, but I did not laugh aloud either. It was lazy. Yeah, I think the more I think about the special, now I've had a couple weeks to think about it. I've watched some other specials that I thought were better or good. I think what Chappelle did for me is he successfully lowered the bar of my expectations for him to, well, at least he wrote jokes. And I don't think that's a good thing, actually. And I'm not one of these people that gets offended. I'm not offended. I've never been offended at any of his specials. I don't know that I've ever really watched a comedian that offended me. That's just not.
That's not how
my reverence and understanding of stand-up is one that does not allow for me to truly be offended, because my understanding is that if you got on the stage, you're at least trying to entertain me, and hopefully you're trying to be funny and tell jokes. Dave lost that for like 3 or 4 specials in a row where he just spent a lot of time not telling jokes. This last special, while it's probably his second best Netflix special, it's nowhere near his peak to me. It's just like, okay, he's back to at least trying to tell jokes. And he's so aware that people are going to be pissed. His audience is coming for people to be pissed. In both meanings of coming. And something has been lost. Like I said, I listened to people, like I was listening to Firestarter, and they were talking about the special. And it's not really a commentary on like the special or the jokes anymore.
Mm-mm.
It's a meta commentary on like society and people getting offended, and is he really transphobic or is he not, or is that allowed or not, and why is it okay, for him to be like super, dogmatic about race, but at gender and LGBTQ issues, he can be like, fuck those people, they are the butt of the joke. That is funny, but when I was listening to JL's Covan, Rain on My Parade, talk about the special, and what's my other and Ricky Gervais' special, and same thing. Like it's no longer really about the specials. It's just about like how pissed are people? Should they be pissed? And he's kind of created a monster, and it can't be put back in the box. So that's why you got people that tune in for 3 seconds to tell me how much they were turned off and don't watch it, and then they write for days on Facebook and Twitter about how much they don't watch it because they're such great people. And then you have people that watch it, but then they spend all day fighting on social media being like, you're not gonna tell me that what he can say, he's a genius, and it's like, that's not fun for me either. I've never watched a comedy special and wanted to do that if I had a good time. I've never left someone's stand-up show and wanted to fight people online about it, or yell at people, or get on the podcast and get all high and mighty about it. That's not what I got into this liking stand-up for. And then you have people like Karen that just don't even watch it because they're just so turned off by the conversation that has been created. And I feel sad that Dave gave into that, because I think he legitimately is a comedic genius. I think his better work and best work came from like a self-informed place of shit that he had experienced. And I think his best jokes seem to come from that, even if he would disagree. And I think this kind of Bugs Bunny poking at the woke people and the liberals, blah, blah. I think I've seen so many regressive, not funny people do it, that even his material is still hacked to me. It's still the same type of material that these other comedians that are not as good as Dave Chappelle do. But if you keep doing this for this long, at what point do I have to stop saying they're not as good as you and go, you're about as good as them? You're on that kind of Ricky Gervais, look at me poking the liberals thing. Even if I thought this last special, at least you were trying to tell jokes as opposed to like preaching to me for a fucking hour. So I did appreciate him trying to tell jokes, but at this point, I'm just wistful for what he used to mean.
I agree, and also I think for me, I've watched several. I don't watch as many comedy specials as you do, but I have watched some comedy specials, particularly over the last year. Some of them were old and some of them were current and all that type of stuff. And like I say, I consume comedy very, very different. And me and you consume comedy about the same. And when I hear people review specials, and they're talking about everything but the jokes, I'm not going to watch it. I'm just kind of going to be real. I'm not going to watch it. Because we're talking about everything but the motherfucking jokes. Was it funny? Did you laugh? No. We got to talk about everything else but the jokes. Then why am I here?
Yeah, I agree. Let's go back to the comments though. You guys share an anniversary with them insurrection naysayers. Who'd have thought? Wallace, they share an anniversary with us. We were first.
Yes, we were first, but they stole it.
Doretheas says, I'm a fast fan of your podcast because your commentary is intelligent, funny, irreverent, and on point. You and Karen's laughter, pure joy. Happy Podiversary, my favorite good cast pair. Oh, thank you, Dorothea. And she was the person that was a new member and hit us with the donation. Oh, appreciate you. Our girl Sydney, she says, I can take just the tip to Apple with the RSS feed. Second best discovery of 2024. Ooh, for real?
For real?
Girl, you just put us on to something. We didn't know y'all could do that. Okay, so listen, if y'all listening, apparently you can take the Just the Tip
Tip
RSS feed and put it in your Apple Podcast player. Now keep in mind, Just the Tip is still is one bonus episode per week from one of our premium shows.
Mm-hmm.
Balls Deep, Pregame, Sport Movie Reviews, Lip Smacking Good, the Nerd Off. It could be any of those. But we have never missed a week. You always get that extra one.
Mm-hmm.
People need to get a life. Simone and Haley Bailey are prime examples. Motherfuckers are weird as fuck to be so invested. Yo, it's so weird, and I don't think I'm gonna ever really truly relate to it. And I hope I never become like that. I don't ever want to be this involved in strangers' lives. I was reading an article for Balls Deep Sports yesterday, and Tiana Taylor she's filed for divorce, and she wants like full custody of the kids, and she put a lot of stuff about Amon Shumpert. Of course, it's a divorce filing. Who knows what is true and what's not?
Correct.
But I'm just saying, people shared their pictures together because they're both like amazing looking. They're Black. They're in great shape. They're both celebrities, and they would talk openly about their marriage and stuff in certain forums. And so people were just sharing them as like Black love, Black goals, Black this. And then you read the divorce filing, and she's like saying the motherfucker's high all the time around the kids, and he ain't taking the kids to the game. He putting them in ride share and taking him to private drivers places and shit. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's right. We don't know you.
Mm-mm.
We know what you tell us and what you show us, like we do with everybody else.
Right.
So you can't really put people on too high of a pedestal, because for most people, they're not giving you the real them, and they also not giving you enough of them. They show up when they want you to see whatever, which is normal.
Right.
Most of us aren't trying to go through all that shit in public, to be honest,
right.
Good or bad.
It ain't none of your goddamn business.
Neil says, happy podiversary. Damn, 14 years. Congratulations. Raphael says, happy anniversary to the best podcast in the world. You continue to be a multi-universal inspiration. Ashley says, your podcast has become one of my favorites thus far. 14 years is a long time. Congratulations. What has been your favorite segments throughout the years? Okay. Well, Ashley, I'm going to tell you straight up. And it's not just me, and I think I speak for pretty much everybody. But there was a period of time we used to read Baller Alert.
Yes.
Groupie Tales on the show.
Hating ass Terrell Jones.
And that was one of my favorite segments to ever do. I was sad the day we ran out. I almost wanted to go back and start over and read them all again, but they erased that shit from the internet. You cannot find that shit. They're like, listen, the game was supposed to be sold, not told. And we was telling. We was like, y'all put it on the internet, we reading it. And we had such a great fucking time, but I really feel like that's definitely been one of the all-time great segments. So, and yeah, I don't even know where you would go to get them all, because they're just interspersed throughout the years and episodes. If you search the title of our podcast and maybe Groupie or something, it'll give you like those episodes probably.
I missed that so much. We had like theme music we played that came in.
5-Star Chick?
Yes, like that was so much fun, because this was back in the day for Instagram and shit like that. So this is where they was telling their tales, and child, they was telling it.
Yeah, that was an amazing time. Let's see what else we got. Happy Podiversary from Alicia, who says, been listening since 2011. Y'all been with me from my first real job to second degree to wedding and birth of my baby. Shout out to Chill. And I think his name was Austin T. Jones. Austin T. Jones. I don't know Austin. I don't remember. Oh, wait, no. I remember Austin. But I don't know if his last name was T. Jones. But I do remember Austin. And we talked to Chill not too long ago.
Chill doing good for
on
those,
the phone.
Yeah, for those of you to go, I miss Chill. She doing great, y'all.
Chaco Bean says, happy anniversary. I started listening because I heard my sister listening, and I heard Rod do the Bobby Shmurda in prison countdown. I thought, this man is very interested in Bobby's well-being. It wasn't a game.
Roderick was on that. He did that daily till that nigga got free.
I do not know why they had him locked up as long.
It didn't make sense.
I still don't feel right about what they did to Bobby. Maybe I missed some evidence or something. I wasn't on trial at the trial. I wasn't a jury. So maybe there's some evidence that didn't make it to the general public, but I never really understood why he went to jail so long.
Right.
Happy 14th Podiversary, says James, he says King Rod and Queen Karen. Thank you. With little king and queen emojis. And lastly, Miss Barnes says, happy listener since 2018. Okay, Miss Barnes, thank you. Okay, we appreciate you. Let's go to the next episode. That was our feedback episode. We did 4 this week. Break some rules, 2835. We had 6 comments. Let's get into them. Ann says, listen to this on a Monday morning. Your advice about the people who break the rules are the ones who make the new rules is perfect motivation. I even quoted you on my socials. Let's go, Ann. Also, I agree with your strategy of taking the time to grow on your own instead of trying to get support from the start. The best advice I ever got was that I have to prove my good idea actually is good before other people will support it. No one will recognize your vision without proof, and that proof can only come from putting in the work. Hard, yes, but necessary. Yeah, I have a saying that I for a long time, which is most people are not going to help you until it's too late, like till you don't need their help.
Till you don't need the help.
Now that doesn't mean that their help isn't useful or that you can't like grow with that,
right?
But just a lot of times people offer you stuff and it's not really mutually beneficial because it's like you proving you can do this shit by yourself. And now they just see that you could prove it and they're like, I want to be down with that energy, with that person, with their whatever goals they have, because I think they're going to accomplish these goals and bigger things later. And so they try to hop on, and discernment is really your tool there. Yes. Discerning the people that are just leeches and hoppers on that are dragging you down, and the people that actually want to build something together that are similar mindset and similar work ethic. It's hard to do, but you definitely need to parse it out. Happy anniversary to the Blackout Tips. I remember the first episode I listened to. It was the Southern accents that got me. I live in the South, so it felt comfortable. It was the one where you were dealing with some guy who complained about Karen's voice. You took the time to correct him. I loved it. That reminds me, I need to update my iTunes review. Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all know I don't play about that, so I don't remember what it was, but you know, hopefully they got that straight. I don't remember anybody else bringing it up, so it's probably fine.
And that has a lot to do with why we do the 5-star reviews the way we do.
Yeah,
we like, look, leave 5-star reviews and be nice. If not gonna read them on the air.
Yeah, and there's also just people that have internalized anti-blackness and all kinds of classism and shit that don't understand like their lack of affection for the Southern Black voice and associating it with illiteracy, slavery, just a bunch of regressive things. It is very anti-Black.
Yes, it is.
And because it's not just about the regional dialect, it's the assumptions. And honestly, it kind of extends to a lot of regional dialects, if we're being frank. Like, there's people that hear voices of somebody and they're from New York, and they just assume like if you talk a certain type of way from New York using Black slang and all, you know, it's like, oh, well, clearly this person's not intelligent. They can't. And it's like, how many fucking times do you have to be proven wrong? And how many things have you missed in your life because you prejudged and you were fucking wrong? You could have learned something. I listened to T with Queen and J podcast, and they're both Black women from New York. And you know, they got heavy New York accents, but I love that. I have love and affection for that because it feels authentic. If that's where they're from.
Yes.
And I don't know how, what it's like, why do you want everybody to sound like the girl on TikTok voice? You know? Hill Shun says, do y'all remember when Cat Williams got beat up by a kid after he threw the first punch? Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we brought it up when we talked about it on the pregame. But yeah, but you know, you can't really. Cat got his own reality, so I don't think whatever you say, Cat ain't. It don't matter.
Yeah, and he joked on himself about it, so he's like, "I'm gonna take the sting out of it. Like, y'all think y'all punching me? I'm gonna punch myself. So what you gonna do now?"
Right. Appia says, I'm confused by the one verdict on fucking with Black people. You judged the event where people protested and the bad legislation banning Black history was taken back, and you gave it the worst rating, but this was good. The banning was, of course, the worst. Yeah, I think that was the one where they were gonna ban Black history being taught, not books, but the actual class. So it was they relented because people got upset. But if I'm not mistaken, in that article they said they basically still planned and have the power to ban those classes.
Right.
And it's still gonna fuck with me. The answer isn't like, it's how much do you feel fucked with? And the fact that my history, the history of my people in America, is something that is optional and seen as political and to be taken out because of the feelings of white children, alleged feelings of white children. It's really about their parents.
Right.
It fucks with me. And so sometimes it doesn't matter whether the thing is good or bad that is happening, because if I'm being honest, the fact that we're still even debating this, that it's still up as an option,
fucks with me.
It's Dracarys.
Yes, it is.
I am so angry about this, and that people let this happen to our country.
Yes.
And that people think that we can just apathy our way out of this shit. And you may see that a lot of these ratings are going to be pretty angry in 2024, because looking around at some of the happenings politically, I'm already pre-mad. I'm trying not to just be ranting all the time, and I try to keep that down on the pod. But
yes, sir.
In general, this is going to be you might see some higher ratings, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Breaking rules is obviously the right thing to do for real success. Just important to add that when you try it, you don't know what rules to break for success, and you'll probably have to try multiple times. This is normal. Yeah, not just that, but as I said on the show, you will probably fail because most people will fail, regardless of which rules you break. Especially if your goal is to be like super huge or something like that is very rare for anyone to get.
Yes.
You probably will fail no matter what rules you break, but at least break the rules that like are authentic to yourself, so you can have fun and live in that. And if you do make it, you will have made it in a comfortable way that you don't have to fake. That's what happened with us. The way we have established ourselves, and we talk to podcasters all the time that used to interview us, and they would say stuff like, how do y'all, like keep from arguing on the show and shit? And I'm like, because we aren't those people anyway.
No, we're not.
So it's not like we turn the mics on and we're like, all right, Karen, I know you just called me a punk ass nigga. And I know I just called you a bitch, but it's time to record. Okay, let's pretend to be happy. Like, yeah. We just never did that. So, and if we were some other couple that did argue all the time, and then maybe that's what your podcast should be. I'm like, I wouldn't do it, but maybe it works for you.
Yeah, so. Maybe it works for you, but I know me, I cannot function with that, because my motto is, guess what? These mics gonna go off, and you got to still look me in my motherfucking face.
Shoe Booty says, Rod, I'm going to let your banter regarding fitness be my new rock. I am in the same boat where the pandemic stopped everything in my tracks. And for a few years, I was trying to capture lightning in the bottle and recreate what worked for me. But I'm realizing it's time to find what will work for me now. Everything has changed. I have changed, and the old routine won't work for new times. I joined the Y, but have been nervous to go. But I want to feel like I used to when I was active, strong, capable, and confident. Yeah, definitely, man. Like, because like for specifically playing basketball 4 or 5 times a week, even when I was like 42, 43 or whatever, that felt good. I felt good. My vitals and all the shit that I go to the doctor for were strong. It was good. But man, this last like 3 years of just not, because I'm not a gotta go take a hike person. That's not as fun to me.
Right.
I'm not a lift weights guy. But if that's what I have to be or need to be, or that's where I need to start over, then I'm gonna do it. I'm working on getting a physical trainer. I just had my like initial interview thing where you talk about your goals and all that stuff, and they're supposed to hit me up by next week. And then I'm gonna learn how to go in the gym and use the machines correctly.
Right, because I'm trying to tell you, them stick figures don't mean shit to me. I'm ready to go. I still don't know how the fuck to use this machine.
And then supposedly they walk me through the workout in the machines, tell me like a routine or cycle, I think is what it's called. And then they basically instruct you like, okay, you need to do this, this, and this, and then repeat this 3-4 times a week. And so the 3 or 4 times that I repeat it will be without them, but they'll show me the first time every week. And so I signed up for that. I've never done any strength training or weight training before since high school. Maybe I took a class in college, but that teacher did not check on anything. We was just in there doing whatever. So I'm looking forward to that, to see, what I can learn and see how it affects my body and stuff. I've already started working on like diet stuff, as far as like, and I don't mean diet like fad diet, but just like lifestyle, what you eat. I've been working on that stuff since early December. And it has been working. It's, like I said, I've been trying some healthy alternative snacks and all that shit, but just also like when I eat, what I eat, what I cook. We pretty much don't eat DoorDash and stuff anymore. Like maybe once or twice a week at most, but
sometimes
most of the time not even that.
Right.
And I've just been doing more like things to prepare myself for good habits, because also you get older and your body changes. Like your metabolism goes down, your testosterone goes down, your ability to process sugar goes down, your liver, like all this shit is finite and starts going down. So then it's like, all right, man, I can either like be like, fuck it. If I just, I'm just living my life. I don't give a fuck, which is fine. I don't judge nobody. Y'all don't never really hear me on here talk about nobody's health or weight or whatever.
That's your choice.
I only talk about mine, and I don't try to talk about mine in any negative voice. I don't try to be on here like I'm just a fat piece of shit. I don't do that. I don't find motivation in that. I know that's other people's motivation, but I try to make this a space where people don't have to hear that bullshit. Especially because there's already so many people attacking folks' appearances and bodies constantly anyway. And people are extremely fat phobic towards themselves and others, and we just live with it,
Yes, sir.
Especially because we still are children and we think it's funny. Everybody's mad at Dave Chappelle, blah blah blah, but how many of them shared Cat Williams and his fat phobia? How many of them shared Stephen A. Smith and his fat phobia? Like, they don't really live their raps anyway. We're still children about that shit. How many people are mad at celebrities for using Ozempic and losing weight? Like, it's just kind of ridiculous. So I don't want to, if I can help it, I try not to contribute to that. I won't lie though. Some of that shit is funny to me. I'm still a child. I'm not
above it, but yes.
When Stephen A. Smith called Jason Whitlock a fat bitch, I did laugh like a motherfucker.
I wasn't ready. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, like the goal isn't to tell y'all I'm a saint and I'm perfect. I identify with people the same way y'all do, but yeah. My point being, like, I'm with you, and I would like to do that. I normally don't share this kind of stuff on the show anyway, but in our banter segment, it's about what we've been up to. So that's what we've been doing. And, and even before this physical training shit, I've still been just going to the Y 3, 4, 5 times a week and like shooting around, walking, and on top of, I still have my Peloton here, still have the virtual VR headset stuff. I just want to get back active, man. I can't keep waiting on basketball to come back, because I don't know if these niggas are ever coming back to playing basketball at the time that I play.
Right, and the times that you desire, and like I said, it's been an adjustment, like I say, and the thing is, it's a process, and it's very hard to go through the process. And when you do these things, people think you just have to do these extreme things. You don't. You can just basically try things. You like it, great, and you could just put it into your everyday routines where it's not like this big shift. Because if you do big sweeping changes, you're not going to stick with it. You know yourself. You know what you're going to do and what you ain't going to do. So you have to do things that's convenient for you, that fits in the time frame for you, and that's what's best for your life, versus doing all these extreme things out there and then you don't stick to it.
Well, it's just different people are different. Some people do that. Some people do make extreme changes and it fucking works for them. But I'm just trying something that I've never tried before to see if it works for me.
Right.
So, like, you can't knock it if you've never fucking tried it. Why? It's like when people knock New Year's resolutions, but they've never done one. So then, like, you kind of tell yourself you can't do one, basically. Like I'm pouring into that New Year's resolution energy and being like, let's see what happens. Maybe I'll stick with it, maybe I don't. But what was I gonna do before is nothing.
Right.
So might as well try something. But yeah, I just want to feel good. That's it.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Shoe Babe says, wasn't there a rape scene in Players Club? Didn't Ice Cube have a hand in making that movie? He did. I don't remember that scene and how graphic it was and whatnot. His thing in his he did not say, and I think the word choices it went over people's head. He didn't say he wouldn't put a rape scene in the movie. He said one, he doesn't like showing that stuff, meaning he wouldn't want to show like the graphic like assault of someone.
Right. So you might see the quote unquote maybe the aftermath, but not the
right,
not the actual event.
According to him, this is what he said. Now I haven't watched Players Club in a long time. But I just don't, and I don't remember the scene specifically. But you know, if you cut away or you hear somebody screaming or something, it sounds like that's what he was talking about doing in Friday. But so his thing was like, I wasn't going to actually show Cat Williams' character being sexually assaulted. That's not funny to me. But he is saying that the idea of him being sexually assaulted in that bathroom, that would have been in the script and possibly in the film without showing it and been played for laughs. I'm not here to really debate all that shit. You know, times change and people change and all this shit. So, and I know some people have found jokes about rape hilarious in movies and TV and comedy, and some people have never found that shit funny. Debate amongst yourselves is not for me. I don't make those movies anyway. Evie says, I'm happy Haley Bailey announced her pregnancy on her terms. I follow her on social media, and the number of comments demanding she announced her pregnancy was so entitled. We don't know her. She owes me nothing. I hope she never shows her baby on social media ever. She already has. But of course, people are already demanding it. I can never be a celebrity because someone would get cussed out. Yeah, that's facts. Like, I definitely do not have a temperament. Somebody would have said some shit to me and I would have just had a bad day and everybody would have said, damn. CMH 818 says Cat Williams didn't need the Plastic Cup Boys to back him up. I guess talking about Kevin Hart and how he had the Plastic Cup Boys making jokes about
hilarious.
Making jokes about Cat Williams on that NBA broadcast. Who will win? And who will win a Kevin Hart versus Cat Williams decathlon? Cat Williams or Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart.
The majority of our audience agrees with Karen. 66% say Kevin Hart, 33% say Cat Williams. And then the poll on Spotify, very close. About the same. 60% Kevin Hart, 40% Cat Williams. So the majority of us think Kevin Hart will win a decathlon against Cat Williams, regardless of that video of him running in that gym. I don't normally toot my own horn, but today I'm honking this bitch. J. Cole was the quote of the show. Wallace says, which horn you honking, naysayer? Roger says, it's crazy how Cat Williams is how now these niggas top 5 comedians all of a sudden. Yes, prisoner of the moment. Jane says, political neutral, naysayer, please. Shout out to the Missouri students for taking a stand against that school district's nonsense. Yeah. Coach Malik says, honk that shit. Raphael says, I'm actually working on 2 podcast projects and learning a new language right now. Got to be able to sell the hustle in a new market. Thank you for this talk. I needed it. Talk your shit, Rod and Karen. Don't get arrested. Hey, AC, Mr. Span says, as a fellow OG podcaster, let me tell you, y'all was cooking on this mofo today. And I appreciate y'all taking the time to talk about what it means to make it in this space. Thanks, Mr. Span.
Thank you, Mr. Span.
DJ Zenway says, wow, hey guys, thanks for this. It's so on time for me right now in 2024. Saving this, please listen to Cat Williams' interview. He never claimed to have written the part. He enhanced the part. I mean, I did listen to it, and yeah, that's fine, man. I heard him use the written thing interchangeably, and I think maybe you got to go back and listen again. Well, you know, because he did say no one else could have played this part because I wrote this part, and I think what he's saying is his enhancement, his comedian, whatever, is the crux of that character. And I don't think that him and Ice Cube were like, I don't think either one of them was lying or anything. I just feel like some wires got crossed there. I don't think that makes anybody necessarily wrong there. And then Carrie just put a bunch of emojis for celebrations or something. I don't know. Carrie was just doing his own thing with the emojis. Okay. All right, let's get to the next 2 episodes, but first I need to play some music so we can get this motherfucking money.
Psycho.
Music.
All right, let's get to the next episode. 2836. Be his Coretta. 4 comments. Abia says, I'm concerned with how Jonathan Majors is talking about his new girlfriend because I recognize an unhealthy dynamic. I hope I'm wrong and they are fine or fake, and I'm just reminded of some stuff I experienced in one bad relationship in the past. He builds her up as his savior. He says she is an angel, not like all the other bitches in the past. She is a good woman. There's a lot for such a short relationship, too much and too fast. If the relationship goes bad, she will, if she is like many other women, hesitate to leave out of guilt. She can't leave him because he would collapse. She has to save him with love, and she doesn't want to be like all the other bad women who failed him. That's a pretty bad dynamic, but as I said, I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I have no idea, once again, with these grown-up ass strangers that we don't really know that just act for a living. I do think the way he talks about her is weird, especially with them being together supposedly for such a short period of time. Megan Good is basically silently just stood by his side through all the slings and arrows and whatnot. And who was it? It was Naima from Tea with Queen and Jay, Naima on Twitter, that made such a great point that I think it was her. I'm pretty sure it was her. But when he brings up that Coretta shit on national TV about Megan Good, that is also definitively there's almost no way his ex would not see that. And it's kind of a shot at her.
I can see that.
Like, this woman is the woman you wouldn't be for me.
Mm-hmm.
Which says a lot. Now, I know she's a white woman. We're supposed to hate them and shit, but I don't really go for all that.
Me either.
If somebody is in an abusive relationship, I'm not like, well, you a white bitch, too bad. Like, I just feel like that's all very unfortunate shit. And
right.
Time will tell on Jonathan Majors and all that stuff if he's genuinely changes, like the Ray Rice thing. But so far it doesn't sound like he feels like he did much wrong. And even the earlier stuff with the text message about don't go to the hospital, people don't seem that concerned about that. And I find that weird. I don't know why, but that bothers me more than the if you don't feel so strongly about the night of the in question, I don't blame you. I really think that is confusing. I don't know what happened. I really don't. But the text messages about don't go to the hospital seem kind of cut and dry to me. Like, I understand it's not a beyond a reasonable doubt thing, but he never offered an explanation that made sense. And they don't seem to be asking him to give an explanation that makes sense about what the fuck was he talking about. And so, and in that interview when he pivots to like, I think I would have, what I learned from that night is I needed to just get out the car or something. And I'm like, yeah. And then I shouldn't have ignored the red flags. I'm like, the red flags of you putting her in, need to go to the hospital?
Who waving these flags?
Like, what the fuck is happening? Am I? Well, this is crazy.
Right.
Justin says, the thing that's wild about the whole Color Purple and Oprah stuff is that most of the people talking bad about how Oprah didn't do anything to help refuse to or haven't even seen the movie because it's black trauma porn or whatever excuse they have to not see the movie.
Right.
Just look at the box office. The film was made about $56 million, and I've seen people say how underpaid Taraji has always been, and she should be making just as much as Brad Pitt or whoever, but they won't see the movie she's in. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't really have much to push back on that. I just think it's a complicated thing, and the movie budget / how much actors make thing is already a rigged game, rigged playing field. There are actors who lose the most money in Hollywood who also get paid some of the most money in Hollywood, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. You know, I forget who I was on the list at the time, but I know Will Smith was on the list for a long time of people that we associate with, oh my God, movie star. And then they just have certain projects that just keep losing money, and they keep getting big paydays to lose money again. And it's not really reflecting on their acting ability. Could just be the projects they pick,
right?
Budget, promotion, could be a lot of stuff. But I think we all can agree that Black actresses are underpaid and kind of get the shit end of the stick with a lot of these things. And so I think that's where you're gonna find common ground. But yeah, I will always have a bit of a annoyance at Black people who complain about Black trauma movies or Black history movies or Black or slavery movies or what. I have a bone to pick with them to a certain extent, because a lot of that work, especially when it's made for us and by us, is good work.
Right.
And there's no shame in it. It's not the Hollywood or the Illuminati or anybody trying to like come get you.
Right. And I still feel like this. You get in your, like white people, you get in your feelings about it, and all of a sudden, because you get in your feelings about it, it cannot exist.
And the last thing is, I don't say shit like Black trauma, because I find that to be ridiculous, because the vast majority of movies have some level of trauma in them. Even if it's a rom-com and it's just someone getting cheated on, what makes it Black? You know what I mean? Whenever it's some Black people struggling, it's Black trauma. But when the motherfucking they make the movie about the poor people that work at Amazon, that's just a movie. And no one's talking about white trauma. All these fucking movies about opioids and shit like that, and these trailer park like, we don't call 8 Mile white trauma. So stop. Just stop, man. Black people we're allowed to paint with every brush in our toolkit as well, and stop fucking limiting us. You don't have to watch it. I'm cool with that. That's why I'm not gonna join you in the like, y'all won't even watch the movie. Don't watch it if you don't want to, but don't make me put me as a creative in a fucking box. MD Aria says, I hope Jonathan Major gets help. I truly do. This person needs help. It seems like everyone forgot the initial assault conversation in text messages where he told her not to go to the hospital for the first time. And speaking of Coretta, the internet says he was civil rights attractive. So now he needs his Black woman to hold him down. Everyone wants a Coretta, but are you a Martin Luther King? That's what I'm saying.
Hey.
But also, Martin Luther King was cheating. Eva E says, y'all ain't shit for that show art. Jonathan Major's obsession with Coretta Scott King goes to show he has no real knowledge about her besides being someone's wife, instead of acknowledging her as an activist in her own right. One of her children had to check him on that. I think he may have mentioned her again in his interview to make light of his tape conversation that went viral, and that just makes it even worse. I don't think his career is over, but I think it will never be on the same trajectory it was before it all came out. Yeah, because that was the poll. Well, Jonathan Major's work again was the poll. But let me check the comments on YouTube. We got one. Lakita says, I think we're missing the fact that he doesn't have a Coretta fetish. This naysayer just thinks he's MLK. Clearly Lovecraft Country infiltrated his mind, and he really think he died for the cause.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think, honestly, if I'm being serious for a second, I really think he sees Coretta as a woman who was with a great man and put up with everything that came with being a great man. Mm-hmm. And that is what made her a great woman.
Right.
Because that's the way he's used it in the context that it's come up a couple times. And he can go back and try to clean it up, but I think he that was his truth. And he said Michelle Obama too. So like, not, I think it says more about how he views himself as Barack or MLK. And I'm not trying to be pejorative here, but you're just an actor. You're just an actor. You're not the president. You're not the activist that got killed at like 30-something years old for being one of the greatest men this country's ever produced. You're not putting it on the line like that. You're not in the streets. You're not voicing our causes. You're just doing acting work, which is fine. No one was expecting more from you. So elevating yourself to you're doing this for your people and shit just feels weird to me already.
Yes.
Maybe if he had amassed like a long career or something, but I don't even think Denzel Washington would say some shit like that.
Yeah.
So I just don't. Yeah, I think he has an overinflated sense of ego from what I'm gathering. Yeah, the poll. Will he work again? He'll be just fine. 88% think he'll be just fine. 9% think his career is over, and 2% think his career will be even bigger. Which is that's wild. I don't know about that.
They're like, he coming all the way back.
81% think he'll be just fine on Spotify. 17% think his career is over. 1% think he'll be even bigger. I don't know. If I'm being real, I don't know. I feel like he'll mostly be fine. I definitely think his trajectory is going to decrease. But part of the reason I think his trajectory is going to decrease is because of how he's playing this. He seems very much like, guys, it's no big deal. Put me back in movies. And bro, you haven't even been sentenced yet.
Yes, that's not how that works.
And I think that interview was a bad look for a lot of people.
They turned him off.
That even if they kind of had your back, they saw that. I saw people that have his back even showing that interview laughing at some of it. You know, picking on his fashions and a lot of memes about Megan, you know, Good being there like, girl, you okay? Blink twice. You know, you need some help. Like, yeah, like this is not going to be a quick thing for you. And I think it's the kind of thing where you probably have to go away, quietly continue to work and build yourself back up to a certain extent if it's possible. But I think he may even be hurting his chances at that. You know, Nate Parker is working again. He just is never going to, he was on a trajectory to catapult into leading man status.
Right. And
I think he'll never have that now because it was sexual assault. And then the way he kind of tried to explain it, it never really measured up to what people wanted to hear. And I'm not saying that there's any way he was gonna, I don't even know the right way to play that. It's just, it came up, it was something that did happen, and you can either say, I had nothing to do with it, it was all fake, or you gotta say, I did it, I'm responsible, and I hope people can forgive me. But yeah, it's just kind of playing middle of the road of like, I'm very sensitive to this, and you know, I respect women and I would never do that. But also this bitch lying or whatever it was, it wasn't gonna work. So anyway, Q&A was shout out to all the civil rights bays. Curly Nigga says, yeah, I thought Nate Parker was gonna be okay career-wise. That doesn't appear to be the case. Yeah, people always say that, but do y'all go look up his IMDb? He's working.
They don't. It's just the fact that he's not in shit that they're looking or watching, and he's not like being pushed out in the public eye like he used to. So people just assume that you're doing nothing, and that's not always so.
Yeah, like Birth of the Nation was 2016, and he's done. Well, no, hold on, I'm wrong. He's done American Skin 2019. And I Know I Can, which is a short 2020. So no, I'm wrong. He hasn't been working. Yeah, maybe he won't be okay. I don't think he was as big as Jonathan Majors was, but yeah, maybe y'all right. Shit, fuck that. Nichelle says, years ago, Robin Thede did a hilarious sketch called Real Housewives of the Civil Rights Movement. And this interview reminded me of it. I think it's on YouTube.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Ida B. Wells, James Clay says, more like Ida B. Fine, if you know what I'm saying. Guess who says, why does he keep bringing Coretta Scott King up? I'm baffled by his obsession with Coretta. Sounds like he wants a woman to be his mother instead of his partner. Coach Malik says, damn, that beat for the banner section was bumping in the truck. Hey, we got some bangers over here. Ty Flojan says, come on through, Betty Shabazz.
Roger's going down a rabbit hole.
Eddie Bola says, Terrence Howard still works. I think he'll work again. Give it time. Yeah, see, that's the thing, too. People point to Nate Parker, which I said is a pretty extreme case. But we have a ton of people that have sexual assault allegations, credible assault allegations, credible Me Too stories that are working, and everyone ignores them. Anthony Anderson has all kinds, like, he's working. He's working, and no one gives a fuck. Like, Kobe. Like, he died, and we cried for him. motherfuckers cherry pick just the ones that they go, see, what happened to so-and-so. But we have a lot of ones where it's like, we don't say what happened to them because nothing happened. They still around. I don't know if Jonathan Majors will be one of them or not, but I just know it happens, and it's not exclusively a white thing. Roger says you can't turn a Nancy Reagan into a Coretta King. Yamonte says I'm looking for the Ruby D to my Ozzie Davis. A classic Negro knows kind of love. Magnificent Breezy says great episode as always, but that cover picture had me in the group chat cracking. Oh yeah, shout out to the group chat. And the cover art was Coretta kissing Martin Luther King on the cheek, and Jonathan Majors just looking on like he's cheering.
That shit was fucking hilarious.
Mr. Span says, haven't met Miss Scott King once. I agree with Majors. She's a great woman. I had a big ass booger in my nose as I was talking to her. She never said a thing about it. She's 10 out of 10 with me. Wow, that is gross and also endearing. Leash says, you know what would be hilarious if Major's next role was a civil rights leader? If I could make that happen, I would. Yo, he need to play MLK. And Carrie says, shout out to Rod for running the Black Liberation Baddies list off the dome. Respect. That's what I do, Carrie. Okay. There's a small subsection of podcasts that
you gonna get that from?
Yeah, it's a niche market. I don't know.
Very niche.
I didn't know if anybody was gonna really appreciate that, but I'm glad you did, brother. I'm glad you did. We found a fan that was like, okay, off the dome.
Black Liberation Baddies, somebody said.
Yeah, we love them over here. Okay. I'm still a dude. All right, let's go to the last episode of the week. 2837, not really big on fatherhood. Appia says, we don't have garbage disposals here in Germany. I've never seen one in the kitchen here ever. Wonder why that is. Verbal abuse, I doubt that it really goes up, or if the scientists in the past didn't even ask about it in the past, like they didn't even care about it. I don't yell at my kids regularly, but it happened a few times, not often. I always apologize. I think it's important to talk about it, but it's hard to be perfect at it. Oh, garbage disposals are banned in Europe. I just found out. They say they see them as a danger for the pipes and the environment. We do compost in a bin and use the compost for garden plants to separate the trash like good Germans do. But we love to see it. Shoe Booty says, I saw some video yesterday saying you shouldn't pour pasta water down your drain for the same reason, starch buildup. Respectfully, no. I won't be doing that. What else am I supposed to do with my pasta water? Dig a hole out back and give it back to the earth?
Right. That don't make sense.
The video suggested giving it to your house plants or your garden, and there's no way I'm gonna have my plants in my house thinking like old spaghetti or attracting critters outside with my pasta enriched tulips. Wangangi says, I dump my weird non-toxic organic waste liquids on my neighbor's tree that is growing through my fence. That's smart. If only we all had neighbors like that.
Right.
Gina Gay says, listen, y'all talk about verbal abuse. I'm not surprised it's trending upwards. A lot of parents are well aware that it's not okay to hit our children, and there are lots of societal repercussions for doing so. But yelling and screaming seems to be still on the that's what parents do table for many parents. It's sort of like a, well, at least don't hit them kind of mentality, which is dangerous, but definitely out there. I can also see it as a rebellion against gentle parenting trend, which I've heard people say means you are abdicating responsibility. I don't agree. I can see lots of parents not even understanding that yelling can even be abusive. Hearing that it can be so damaging was surprising, though. It makes sense. Can't try to teach my kid about controlling big feelings when I don't, right?
Right.
Thanks for bringing it to my attention. No problem. And I'm glad you found it, informational. I did too. I did not know that shit.
Right. And this is something where it's so common that people don't really even think about it, and they don't comprehend how it affects people. People know it affects people, but people really don't think. People know it affects people, but when it comes to children, because I can't speak for anyone else, but here in America, children are considered property. Like, that's your property. You own it like you own a chair. Mm-hmm. So because of that, the way people process it is a little different. People go, well, if I'm going to treat this child like it's a chair, quote unquote. So what I do to it, no, I'm not kicking it. I'm not beating it up. But, I am, quote unquote, might be abusing it. But that's okay because it's mine. And I think sometimes that's very hard for people to understand. And people have normalized yelling. People go, well, I'd rather you yell at me than beat me. Well, it could still affect people and things and stuff just as much. And sometimes even worse sometimes, because there's some things, and it wasn't until I became an adult, but there were things that were said to me as a child that I literally held on to until I was an adult and let it go. So those words actually do mean things.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I have to disagree with Appia. I trust the scientists here. And I think that if they say it's trending upwards, I believe them, you know. EVE says at least NBA Youngboy is honest. I don't think anyone who has several children with a bunch of different baby mamas is really interested in fatherhood, and that includes Nick Cannon, because how can you effectively parent several children in different households? Someone is bound to be neglected. It's all about ego with these types of men. Yeah, as I always say, the kids will tell the real story.
Yeah, and if
the kids are going to be adults one day.
Yeah, and if you were there, they're going to say it, and if you wouldn't, they're going to say it too.
Yeah, the kids will get to tell their side. People have been coming for Vivica Fox all week because of what she allegedly said. People were coming for her career as if she wasn't in Independence Day, for Kill Bill, and Soul Food. She has iconic roles. People who are perpetually online just be making shit up, right? Mm-hmm. And could have read the article. It's in the article. She supports Taraji.
Yeah, they're not going to read it.
She has had a different experience, but she's glad Taraji and other black actresses are speaking up about theirs. What the fuck? Why do we have to hate so much? Don Lemon is coming out with a show on Twitter. We will never hear from him again. Does it Tucker Carlson have a show on Twitter? Yep, and I've never seen it or heard anybody talk about it. Remember when he used to go viral every week because of dumb ass shit he used to say? Anyone heard from him lately? I haven't. Exactly. For whatever people want to say, legacy media television it's still the big joker, it's still the big dog. And it's the reason that Bill Maher, when he's doing a season, goes viral every Saturday morning with just a very archaic old man take. But it works. We're talking about it on social media because it was on TV. If it would have just happened on social media, if Bill Maher had a show on X, no one would give a fuck.
Nope.
You know who's trolling on X? Everybody's trolling on X.
Mm-hmm.
So if Don Lemon wants to put his show on X or whatever, and I'm only saying X because I feel like Don Lemon signed up for X.
He did.
He didn't sign up for Twitter. You got in late, my man. Okay. Anyway, and also like I saw like his, because they all have to make the same statement when they sign these things to be like press release, and it's already that I can finally have freedom of speech. Man, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. It wasn't about freedom of speech. That's not the problem. And you don't have that on X and Twitter anyway. They're gonna fucking delete accounts. They're always moderating some shit. Shut up. And I'm not rooting against them, but it's just I hate when they put that out because it validates Elon Musk and that platform as this thing that it's not. Let's see. Any comments on YouTube on this episode for not really big on fatherhood? 2837. No comments on YouTube. Let's go to the polls. Do you put the wrong stuff in your garbage disposal?
Yes.
26% yes. 75% no. 74% no. 41% yes on Spotify. 58% no.
Yes, because here in America, it's the garbage disposal. Like, bitch, you chew up shit. Like, that's your whole ass job. Like, they don't teach you that, the sugar water turns to start. They're like, the fuck am I supposed to know that? Like,
yeah, I say yes as well. Although I did find that thing informative, and I've been watching what I put down there lately. And since I'm the one that does the majority of that stuff, hopefully that's a good thing in our house.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Uzo says that poll. So I'm sorry. I got this rich ass lifestyle. Chaka Khan was a Q&A. Dr. Uzo 82 says that poll should have an option for not anymore. Had to learn about the eggshell thing the hard way. Brooklyn Shoebabe says I live in NYC. Our apartments rarely or never have garbage disposals. I don't have this rich ass lifestyle. Michelle says love.
Yeah, a lot of them shits was made back in the 19th century. So yes. That's why they don't have garbage disposal.
I also don't have central AC. Michelle says, love a true diva like Shaka Khan. Also, a plumber friend told me to not use the disposal at all because most pipes are old. Yeah, well then stop putting it in the fucking thing then. Nicole says, I I aim to have the same unbothered rich auntie energy as Queen Shaka. Ash Wash says, do they even make divas like Shaka, Aretha, and Mariah anymore? We need more of this. Can they make them? Because
they came at us.
Motherfuckers seem to hate people that do fuck shit now. And if they don't hate them, then they have to do this weird stand thing where they defend oh, she married a rapist? Yay! Like, there's no in between, I think, at that time, because one, these people didn't have social media. A lot of this stuff was whisper campaigns and rumors and some other celebrity telling you a story about them, or they do an interview and they have a lot of personality. I think now they're going directly to us through Instagram and stuff. So I think these divas do exist, but what's changed is the mystique around them. There's no more mystique. The ones that are considered divas now are the ones that still treat us like it's 1975 and don't tell us shit unless it's time to sell something.
Come on, Beyonce, Rihanna.
Right. So they still exist, but there was never like it wasn't like there was always 50 divas. Like it's always gonna be a few. Lastly, Carrie says Shaka being bae, and I'm a firm supporter of her slowing down. All right, that is it for the wait, let me make sure. I think I saw one more comment that need to be published or something. Oh yeah, there was one more.
Okay.
Why isn't it showing up?
Oh shit, they get deleted or removed?
I don't know. Huh. All right. Well, it says flagged. What does that mean? Oh, Quee said young boy, or Key Taylor says, young boy said, fuck them kids. He just here to spray man milk all over them vaginal walls. I can see why that got flagged.
I can see. They was like, nope. They was like, you posted that. They said, noted, but we won't be posting this.
Especially when you say young boy, not like they don't know that that's NBA young boy.
Oh, okay, right. Because they be like, yeah, you might be talking about the kids. We can't be posting that.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. All right, let's get to the voicemails. All right, let's get to the voicemail. Y'all know the phone number. Let's do it.
Hey guys, it's Kiana. So I'm getting caught up on episodes, and I'm currently listening to the one with J.L. Covan, and y'all were doing Guess the Race, and you were talking about the officer who got in trouble for essentially making porn while he was in uniform. And it reminded me of something. So I've worked in local government for like almost 12, 13 years at this point. And one of my jobs, I worked as a police clerk in a police department. It was like my very first police job. And we had a chief of police who was, honestly, he never should have had the job. He was very, very underqualified, but the mayor at the time liked him, so he got the job. We got a new mayor. She wasn't going for his shift, and so he got fired. Once he got fired, all of his stuff got turned into me because I kept inventory of all the equipment that was issued, and I got his work textbook, which is the laptop that they use. So I'm going in so I can reset it, wipe it clean. This was when Skype was popping, and his Skype automatically opened up when I turned on the computer, and his profile picture was a very shiny, greased up penis. Now, hopefully it was his, but it was a greased up penis on a government computer. And I just remember being shocked and mortified and having like secondhand embarrassment for him. He didn't take getting fired well. And he called me soon after that and was like, yeah, watch your back because they're probably going to try to fire you next because I'm not there to protect you. And I'm like, nah, my boy, you was wilding out having dick pics as your profile pictures on your fucking work computer. Like, of all the things to do, I don't know why you chose to do that. But anyway, you telling that story just made me think of it. So I hope y'all are staying warm and safe. Happy New Year. Love y'all. Bye.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
Oh my.
He was like, they got me, they getting you too. No, dog. Nah, I don't got shoddy dick pics on my Skype login.
Yeah, don't put me in there with you, homie. Like, I'm
I'd
good.
have picked that shit up and went straight to IT and be like, hey, y'all, like, I'm letting y'all know I didn't do shit to this. Y'all clean it, do what y'all need to do. Take it off of there, and I'll take it from there.
Yeah, don't ever put me in your shit. I hate when motherfuckers are fucking up and try to add me. Like, man, it's hard for both of us out here. No, I'm not putting porn on my work computer.
Right?
My avatar is not a dick pic, sir. So I'm gonna need you to keep that to yourself.
I don't have Mr. Glossy and balls out here.
Right.
That's you.
Put your dick away and stop acting like we the same. We not.
Right.
All right, let's go to the next voicemail. Oh my God. It's from Nikki.
Hey Rod, hey Karen. Hopefully this sounds good because I'm driving. But I was listening to the episode about Jonathan Majors and his Coretta Scott King. Has a black female who is dated. Well, I've been with my husband for about 8 years total, but someone who's dated in the last decade. I have been on dates with said black dudes like that, and this is just a generalization, but they tend to be a little bit weird. Like, and I agree with you and Karen of they're not looking for a woman who's like, an activist, all of that. They're looking for a woman to put up with their shit. So I'm not sure. I'm Nicole from Three Guys On. I'm there every Saturday, and there was one episode they were messing with me about my white husband. I dated the black guy. Well, we were on one date. We did not date, and he mentioned that in the date. That's absolutely red flag. I said this isn't gonna work. When I ended up meeting my husband, and I posted a picture of him, he was like, "Oh, so you with a white man?" I said, "Yeah, you're looking for Coretta Scott King. I was looking for David Bowie." Obviously, we have different things in mind, but it's just comical, and I find it I took it as like, what? Yeah, insult. But that's all I got to say. There's a correlation with crazy and wanting a Coretta Scott King, aka a submissive black woman who will let you do what the fuck you want and won't say nothing. But that's all. You guys have a great Saturday. If you guys are in 3GO this Saturday, I will see you guys then.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's such a red flag.
For me too.
Why do you even want that?
Just using that language, I'd be like, what the fuck we got? What?
And it's never like a equality thing. Ida B. Wells had a husband. I know his last name was Barnett, but let me just make sure I don't want to fuck up his first name because I know what I want to say. Oh, Ferdinand Lee Barnett. And if you read Ida Sword Among Lions, that was a man who also was an activist, also was very civic minded and all that stuff. But that's a man who was so far ahead of his time when it came to respecting what his wife did, understanding it was a mission for her, it was a goal for her. And even back during that time of the turn of the century, it was not okay, so it's time for you to have these babies and fucking be a wife and do all this shit. He was like, no, I understand. And we're equals in this. And it doesn't mean they didn't have any disagreements or what. They eventually did have kids and stuff, but it wasn't like that's your goal is to stay home and take pictures and make people think I'm a great guy. And I think that's what Jonathan Majors keeps hinting at. And honestly, dog, I feel that way about a lot of niggas that talk that like king and queen shit. They only use the term queen because they feel like the queen is subservient to the king. It's not a matriarchal queen. It's not a queen because we're equals. It's I rule and you submit. All them niggas that say stuff like submit and that kind of support, it's weird. And a lot of them have fictionalized who they are in the state of America and in the state of Black life. We of all races cannot truly afford patriarchy. It is hazardous to us. We should reframe the way we teach our children, in my opinion, the way we teach our boys. and be more about partnership and equal support, because that is the real reality of America. And I understand that assuaging and capitulating to a man's ego is part of the patriarchal design of this country, and men's feelings and emotions. They have to feel like a man no matter how the fuck life is treating them. They need to come home, and you as a woman need to make them feel like a man, which means shrinking yourself for their ego. So it doesn't matter what they do for a living, who's making the most money. You have to somehow make them feel like they're essentially like these old school leave it to beaver ass white men. And I just think we should erase that entire paradigm. We've never had it. No. In America, black people have never been afforded that in mass. They have made sure the men stayed underpaid, underemployed, and over incarcerated. And they made sure that the women always stayed overworked. Our black women have always had to either work for themselves out in the fields. When they did have marriages and they did have families, they still were doing labor in their family. When they weren't doing that, they were doing labor for white people, because white people were never really about doing their own work when they could afford or force black people to do the work for them. Right. So we've never had that idealistic version of America where the father comes home, the wife has already made a drink for him, and she greets him at the door with his drink and takes his slippers off. We ain't have that. No. So if we would stop romanticizing that, and motherfuckers that make like $40,000 a year stop acting like they the prize or whatever the fuck, I think we could get past that. But yeah, I'm sure anecdotally and a micro level, dealing with that shit in the dating game has to be hella frustrating, because a lot of black men still buy into that shit.
Yeah, and a lot of that, even for them, it was a goddamn illusion. Like people fail to realize that whole the man works and comes home and there's nothing wrong with it if your household is structured like that. But that shit was an illusion, because when they do that, they also don't talk about a lot of the abuse that may have happened, a lot of the guess what that during that period of time, guess what women couldn't have? Homes, money, bank account, drive, boat. Like the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, own property. Yeah, I agree completely. Next voicemail.
Hi, you two. It's Allegra. I am catching up on the shows, and I just was listening to 2830, the social justice death penalty episode with JL on. I love when he's on, by the way. It's always a good time. I love the political talk. But I just wanted to add like 2 cents onto your rant, your justified rant, Rod. And that is, we also live in a culture that doesn't promote change, nor does it promote acknowledging when you're wrong. So if you see, if you have a visceral reaction to something or an action or something that has happened, and then that thing has changed, meaning your example of, Rice and his, penance and, kind of becoming better and making himself better and the steps he did to make change, then it goes against the idea of us being angry. It goes against us. We want to stay angry as a society, and we want to be justified in our anger, and we never want to admit when we're wrong. It's the culture. It's the DNA of our societies. We still can't fucking fully admit slavery happened. So why would we then drill down to a micro example of, domestic abuse and the potential for change there? And it's funny because we're always talking about how we want masculinity to be reformed and how masculinity is being challenged, and we want men.
Oh, she got cut off, but
y'all know what it is. This is Allegra again. Anyway, I'm just ranting about masculinity only because I think that the other side of it is that like we're looking to have a new definition for femininity, masculinity, non-binary, all those things, but we don't want to accept the work that needs to be done to make that change happen. Right. And that's very frustrating to me as a person who is going to school to become a therapist. It's very frustrating to me as a woman who is very into equality and wanting to help people be their truer, better selves. So it's very frustrating to look at how our society is raised, for lack of a better term, and the hypocrisy. And listen, I am a hypocrite too. I am not better than anybody else. But it's interesting to see the hypocrisy and know that people are not willing to be self-aware enough and to do the work enough and be honest enough to say that they're wrong. And what's so terrible about being wrong? I'm always fascinated with that too. What is so terrible about being wrong? I mean, yes, it's lovely to be right, but who the fuck cares if you're wrong? If you have been proven wrong about something that is as intense as the ability for a person to change from a bad person to a good person, wouldn't you want to be wrong about that? I don't know. Anyway, I appreciate your rant, and I 100% agree with it. Unlike
she got cut off again. She didn't call back, but we got you, sis, and thank you. Very astute stuff. I agree with everything you said.
And also I think for me, as somebody in from my childhood, as somebody who over apologizes, just part of my personality, as somebody who apologizes even when sometimes I don't feel like, even I can feel like I'm right and still apologize just because I want to keep peace. Who gives a fuck about it? I want to keep, like, this is just me functioning. I want to keep peace. And the more peaceful solution to be like, you know what? I'm sorry. You interpreted it this way, even though those were not my intentions. Because when you say things, people have the right to perceive them and respond to them and make the situation the reality for them might be different for the reality for you, even though you're justified. So I am like, my bad, I apologize and move on. And the thing is, and like I say, as somebody who has dealt with a lot of different things and fought forgiveness and unforgiveness and all this stuff through my life, it's funny how everybody acts like forgiveness is a weakness. But if forgiveness was a weakness, everybody would, if everybody acts like forgiveness is a weakness, but everybody's not doing it. So forgiveness is actually a strength, but people don't look at it as a strength because they feel like if I do this, I am allowing myself, if I do this, what am I going to do with these feelings and these emotions that I have? And they don't know where to direct them and they don't know what to do with them. And so they find this thing, and that's where all their anger and sadness and pain and all this stuff is wrapped up into that unforgiveness versus actually boiling down to the root cause of the problem and why you feel this way. And the thing is, a lot of times people think forgiveness is forgetting, and those things are not true. I can forgive you about something and not forget about that thing and still hold you accountable for those things and still not fuck with you at the same time. Like, all these things can be true, but a lot of people think forgiveness is we just wash the board, wash the slate, everything's clear. No, it's not true. It's a process. And the thing is, most people don't want to go through that process because it will require them digging within themselves, finding out what caused this. Some of this shit might be caused, like you read the articles about the yelling. Some of this might be caused from somebody yelling at you. Some might be caused from you getting your feelings hurt from a parent or a significant other. And like I say, that's the work, and those are the things that Allegra was talking about that nobody really wants to do. So instead of, admitting that if you want to forgive, that's okay, I'm not forgiving and that's my choice, they'll go, no, I'm not going to forgive, so you shouldn't forgive either. And it was like, hey, dog, everybody don't want to sit in unforgiveness. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people want to forgive for their own personal things so they can fucking move on with their life and not be stuck.
All right, last voicemail.
Yes, Rod, Karen, Justin. This is Dr. Brooks Robinson of blackeconomics.org. I'm calling today about the long-term strategic plan for Black America. We've been communicating with your podcast using the contact information there. Definitely have an interest in having a discussion about this long-term strategic plan for Black America as part of your podcast when you have space available. Please give us a call at your earliest convenience. Once again, the name is Dr. Brooks Robinson, economics.org, and the telephone number is 808-202-6889. Once again, Dr. Brooks Robinson, blackeconomics.org, 808-202-6889. Thanks. Bye-bye.
That was worth a phone call.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be.
I don't think we'll be using your services.
I don't know if we'll be doing that, but thank you. You know, it's not really what we do on the show.
Nope.
And good luck with the long-term plan for Black America
good
and
luck
all
to
that
you
stuff.
all.
Yeah, not wishing anything bad on you. Just yeah.
Now y'all see them weird voicemails we be getting, y'all.
For the gram, 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 for the gram. Imagine if we had to pull to decide the future of Black America. Anyway, doing it for the gram. I remembered to do it this week.
Yay!
The question was, what's the biggest lie you've ever told to get out of going to work? What is the biggest lie? All right, let's see. DJ Java says, use the classic, my grandfather has died multiple times. Once I used it 3 times in the same job and never got caught. I mean, you do have multiple grandparents. So.
Yes, you do.
Definitely didn't have COVID that one time, says Ron.
Oh, no.
John says, Danny's art says, I told them my dad died. That N-word was dead 10 years at that point. Yeah, I mean, you can't come twice. I hear you. Maybe he would be happy he was able to help your life out in some way. My parents live in Buffalo, New York, and I used to take my vacation to visit them in the winter when I knew they were going to be buried in snow. Then when it was time to come back, I was stuck in Buffalo until the driving bans were lifted. I was lying about my ability to get back to California year after year. No, that's smart. No Drama CC says, I said I was exposed to someone with COVID, so I had to isolate at home, and that there was a power outage, so I couldn't work from home. Tiffany says, I was going through depression and had to call off work. I had plenty of PTO, so it shouldn't have been an issue. My supervisor was so mad I kept calling off outside of business hours, then turning my phone off during the day. She requested to have a doctor's note. I actually ended up having a slight viral infection, but I was so pissed they made me get a doctor's note that I asked the doctor to write a note that excused me from work for the rest of the week. Fuck with me if you want to, Pam.
Yeah, come on.
There you go, Pam. Fucking around.
Right? Like, I can't shit right now for the rest of the week.
Terry says, edit my grandma's obituary.
Oh, no.
Let me guess, you edited the date? The date? Is that the one?
Yeah, because sometimes you say somebody ain't sick or something, they'll force you to bring an obituary.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You added the date to today. My grandparents provided me with bereavement time long after they went on to glory. Shout out to the ancestors for holding me down, says Juicy Mama's daddy. Eve says, I've used the dead relative excuse, although technically it wasn't a lie because I only use family members who are already dead. Harukian says, in high school, I told my job I was on the football team, got every Friday off for 3 months. I'm a big dude, so they believed it. Thank God they didn't support you and want to come to a game.
All right, actually, any form of verification.
Right. Hey, what was your stats this weekend? Stats in what? Oh, the football. Yeah. I had several.
I was on the bench.
Several blocks.
You play offense and defense. Offense and defense. Oh yeah, defense.
Robert says, I lied about getting a concussion in a basketball tournament. I did play in a tournament, but I didn't expect to make it into the second day. I forgot I had to work and had to come up with a terrible lie about the concussion. I hated working there anyway, so I didn't really care that much. And Keith says, as anyone who's been in the military can tell you, you can't just call out sick when you don't feel like going to work. You have to actually be sick, because if you get caught faking the illness, that violates Article 83 of the UCMJ, and then go to the sick call and be excused. So I drank a bunch of milk one morning and said I had diarrhea and was feeling fatigued, so I got 2 days off work. When I got out and got a civilian job, but still was working in the Army, I was really caught off guard by how easy it was for civilians to call out sick from work. Yeah, well, they're not going to make you show up and diarrhea in the toilet so you can get off of work.
We don't have no articles. I know, we don't got that. Mm-mm.
I started telling my supervisor how I couldn't get a doctor's appointment until like 2 days from then. And she was like, no, don't worry about that. Just come back in when you're feeling better. Wait, what? That's it?
Yeah. Particularly if you have like somebody that's like a caring and kind person and understanding to that shit. They're like, okay, cool.
I mean, that sounds like how it should be, man. Right. Military sounds, I mean, well, no. I'll take that back. No. The military's right. Not that it should be like that in regular jobs, but just you don't got a regular job. Soldiers can't be like, my tummy hurt. They're like, no, nigga, go kill some brown people. You know that's what they was
like. We need evidence that you are sick. If not, get your ass out there.
If you don't hop on the drones and kill some innocent civilians, okay, let me stop. Hatchet Monica says, I use diarrhea way more times than should be necessary. The worst is when you have it and you have to be like, man, is this enough to call out of work for? And I'm not ashamed to say I have been like, no, I'm not going to work and needing to run to the bathroom every 5 minutes. Right. I don't care about y'all that much.
Ain't that the truth?
Rizzy P says, non-practicing Latinas in the music industry said we had to go to church for Ash Wednesday. Instead, we went to lunch and record shopping, then used black eyeshadow to make a cross on our foreheads. Hilarious.
For the ash. Oh, that's funny.
And then on Facebook, we got a couple comments because it always posts on Facebook too.
Okay.
Brianna says, before I leave for work, I take a mini water bottle, fill it with cereal and milk. Once I at work good, I pour it all over the inside of a trash can. Now I got to take a few days off until the stomach bug settles down. Oh, so you pretend to throw up. That is very interesting.
Right?
As a kid, I used to actually throw up a lot of times. It was psychosomatic or something. But when I was feeling anxious and didn't want to be in school or something, I could really throw up just thinking about it. So, I can't play like them games. My body doesn't know how to stop. Joy says the biggest one is that I fail getting out the shower. But most of the time, I just tell them I had stomach issues. No one wants you at work. You got bubble guts. Exactly.
Right.
No one want to fight through that.
Nope. And nobody going to be like, nope. Because you get there, then you ain't going, particularly if you got to go into the office, traffic to get there. And then once you get there, you're going to be going to the bathroom so frequently, you ain't going to get shit done no way.
Right. No pun intended.
No, I didn't think about that. No pun intended. My bad.
Donald says, well, it's not your bad.
I told you, y'all over apologizing. It's in me, y'all. I can't help it.
Donald says, told my supervisor that my wife's grandfather might not have too many holidays left in them. That got me a few more days off. P.S. Her grandfather's alive and kicking. Do old people in our life know we using them like this?
That's a great question.
Like, how do they feel?
They are oblivious to that.
Maybe if they like a cool old person, they with it. But I can imagine there's got to be some old people out there like, hey, can you stop like talking on my death?
Do you want me to die? Stop this.
What kind of motherfucking weird ass signals are you sending? Take you out of my will. But yeah, that was doing it for the gram. Thanks everybody. For the gram, 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 for the gram. Better not find out Layla out here talking about my uncle dead.
Right? She better not be talking about my Aunt Karen died. What?
Fuck?
What's happening here?
I want you to get out of school too, baby. But come on now.
Don't use me.
Don't kill me.
If you do it, don't use me as an excuse.
We got one email. Sakina says, 5-star review. Hey y'all, it's Sakina from Brooklyn. Just wanted to come on by and drop another 5 stars on y'all. I know y'all are one of the best podcasts I've engaged with because you're not only entertaining but thoughtful, inquisitive, and informative. I appreciate that so much. And guess what? I just attended a mystery movie screening, and the movie ended up being Origins by Ava DuVernay. Y'all. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it was very good. I definitely shed several tears. The crowd was mixed, different age groups and ethnicities, no surprise in NYC. However, there was a group of young people that looked to be in their early 20s that when the film ended, they were so excited to discuss it. It's definitely a thinking cap movie, so I think the kids are gonna be all right. Oh, we love to hear it. I've already reviewed it. It's in, if you're a premium person, I believe it's in our spoiled movie review feed. If you're not premium, you should be getting it in February.
Yeah, next month.
Also, as soon as it was over, I was like, oh my God, I need to stop procrastinating and read Cast on reading Cast. Thanks for putting that book and the author Isabel Wilkerson on my radar. Well, yeah, if you're talking about recent episodes, it was actually J.L. Covan who brought the book up. But yeah, I have the book as well. I just haven't started it, to be honest. But The Warmth of Other Suns was fucking amazing. So I can't wait to get into it. I'm just currently reading some other stuff right now. I think I'm reading When and Where I Enter right now. So I'll get to it soon now, which is about like When and Where I Enter, about Black women activists in America throughout the 19th century. And so y'all wonder how I know my civil rights bays. I do the research. I'll be going back to watch this again when it's officially released. Anyway, thanks again for all y'all do. Have a wonderful 2024. Thank you, everybody. And we also got some mail.
Yay!
Let's see what we got in the mail over here.
Yay!
Boom. We got one of these post boxes that they come with the like like you kind of bend the crease and open it. All right. It's a book, a signed copy from Alex. It's a political history of ACT UP New York, 1987 to 1993. Let the record show. Oh, Sarah Schulman. Conflict is not abuse. My girl. Oh, thank you. I appreciate this.
Not the
Who
hardback.
sent this?
Do it have a thing in it? Did it come with a note? Because sometimes it don't always have a note.
Oh, it just says a signed copy for the flex, but it don't. Oh, wait, the address. Doug. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate you, fam.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Yeah, all right. We got signed copy books now. Listen, we
yes,
collecting
because
these.
that's your jam.
I have several signed copy books that I only flex. Everybody knows I read only Kindle, but
What take a hardback you can knock on?
But I will absolutely take a signed copy of anything and be like,
put it up there in the book.
You know, my good friend Sarah, we were talking the other day. But thank you very much. And then we got one more package. This is another big USPS thing. Folder. Make sure I don't tear whatever's inside.
Right.
I don't want no problems. All right, and then you open this up. We got a package in here. We got a card in here. Make sure nothing else is in here. Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, so I'll read the card first. And
I like a card, like old grandma.
It's from Lisa. Lisa, that name feels very familiar. So the inside of the card, the Woodies, aging Ken and Barbie, Nate and Ian, and look at this wonderful family. All these little pictures of holiday joy. Y'all look like the pictures that they show in like independent movies that are gonna be very emotional about family and stuff.
Yes, at the beginning before shit get fucked up. They be like, remember when we used to be so happy together,
having Christmases with the dog and shit.
We loved each other very much.
That's why I found out your dad was cheating.
Some shit, right?
And that was before the child died or whatever fucking, y'all know how them independent movies are.
Yes, with the plot twist.
It says, wishing you the kind of joy and cheer that's merry enough to last the whole year. Oh, thank you. And then they also have book recommendations inside. Hello, gorgeous. I admit I am in an uncomfortable, deflated mood. Sad, irritated, frustrated, the whole game. I'm not sure I can write this year's letter from a place of depletion. I decided, however, to at least sit in front of an empty screen and see that what emerges very Freudian to me. Thank you for joining Doug and I and the kids to see what happens. Dim the lights, please. Barbara Streisand has been on my mind a lot, along with Alice Walker, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and now Virginia Woolf. What I would give for a room of my own. I just finished reading My Name is Barbara by Barbara Streisand, all 966 pages of it. I have loved her since seeing her in movies like Funny Girl, What's Up, Doc, A Star is Born in the main event. When I was a little girl, seeing Yento was a religious experience for me when she sings, Papa, can you hear me? Into the dark, lonely sky. I get goosebumps every time. The psychological punch she delivered in the Nuts and the Prince of Tides affected me deeply. Oh, in Nuts and the Prince of Tides affected me deeply. Her politics, her gall to try to do it all, to be simply superb at her craft. Little Lisa through adult Lisa has been absorbing her messages and learning from her decades. My dad and I even had tickets to see her perform back in 1994, but she had to cancel due to illness. Though she apologized for this on page 822. Thank you, Babs. Now that I think about it, I became a psychologist. I always dreamt about performing in Broadway and entertained converting to Judaism for a time when I was an undergrad. Maybe Barbara had a bigger effect on me than I realized. And this goes on for a couple pages front and back. I'm not going to be able to read all this, obviously, on the podcast. Now that I'm looking at it. But I love that on the back, she puts book recommendations and podcast recommendations.
Okay. What are those?
I'm just going to say, under podcast recommendations, The Blackout Tips, Drapetomaniacs. Okay. Now, the rest of the people on this list, I like them too. There's nothing wrong. Ezra Klein, I fuck with Ezra Klein hard. Higher Learning was just talking about that podcast yesterday on the pregame. Code Switch, The Griot Daily, Dolly Parton's America. Ooh, I didn't even know she had one. Louder Than the Ride, Jamel Hill Unbothered. Those are podcast recommendations.
I'll check out Dolly Parton.
And a lot of book recommendations as well. Thank you.
Thank you, baby.
And we're happy because I assume this letter went out to everybody they sent cards to, which means we got some new listeners. They got recommendations. And now let's get to what we really want. The present. Okay. It's wrapped. Look, first of all, look at this wrapping paper. Okay. And it's neatly wrapped too. Not like the way I be doing shit where I'll just be like, close enough. Good luck, whoever has to open this.
I hope you can finagle through this.
Yeah. Oh, good luck, everybody. This will be hard to open. It's a calendar. Peace Calendar 2024. Our future is not negotiable, is what it says.
Oh, that's neat.
And as you can see on the back, it's got all these colorful decorations. So it's about peace, and God, I would like some this year.
Yes.
If we could just stop like maybe blowing each other up across the world, everybody, that would be nice. Mm-hmm. And it seems like each month has a different thing. The first one says we're in this together. The second one is Midwives for Black Lives. Iranian women rise up. Youth Act for Climate Justice. So yeah, this is woke as fuck. Okay, don't let Ricky Gervais see this motherfucking calendar. Okay. Dave Chappelle found out what y'all doing, boy.
It might be a problem.
It's gonna be a problem. Oh, and then this came in it. Okay, this is for us, a specific one. Dear Rod and Karen, I wanted to send this gift as a small token of appreciation for the beautiful impact you've had on my life and the lives of so many others. I've been listening to Blackout Tips for about 3 years and been kicking myself for not knowing you existed sooner. Girl, you don't have a time machine.
Whenever you find us, it's on time.
Yeah, who knows? Them old episodes you might not have liked. This gift is produced by the Syracuse Cultural Workers, an organization I've supported since the early 1990s. Thank you for your courage you display and putting yourselves out there every single day. Your courage and example help to give me courage too. My husband and I have been together for over 20 years. Okay, over 20 years, gang. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate the relationship dynamics y'all share as well. And damn, do you make me laugh. Many, many thanks. Please know I'm passing your messages and podcasts on to all my students, many of my psychology clients, and all my friends and family. You do not have to read our holiday letter that is included, but you might appreciate the book and podcast recommendations at the end. Listen, that's exactly what we did. I
Mhm.
realized I couldn't read all of it, but then at the end, I skipped to the bottom and was like, that's me. I do want to read that part. Everyone should know about us.
Yes.
Many, many things. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. She says, we send this letter out to about 200 people, so that's 200 more folks potentially to the Blackout Tips and Drapetomania. With love, Lisa Woody. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
God, man, we span the gambit of just amazing fucking listeners.
Right.
And this is why we do the feedback show. This is why we take the time to read y'all's letters and emails and stuff. It makes us feel good, and I hope we make you feel as good as we do every week with this. And we'll be back throughout the week with more episodes. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your